How gold is not in her. She's a diamond.
So hi, this video is going to be on the very simple understanding of guides or the teams that we work with spiritually. So the advanced people don't really need to watch this one. It's more of an understanding for the beginner or the intermediate and the relationship that we build with our spirit team. And so from the beginner aspects, there is way too many problems where we're made to believe that we have to go and find our guide, or we have to go and get the name of our guide and understand who and what they are about. And so what happens is we start searching for an area within our mind or within our clairvoyance, so the seeing side of mediumship. And we're bogged down with getting a name or get this feeling or this understanding of the guide or of the team. And many students that I have worked with over the last couple of years, this seems to be one of the major obstacles within someone's development, because they don't know their guide, or they don't know the name, or they don't or they haven't met them. And so there's lots of different ways of working with this and building this relationship. And so why I've done this one in particular, this very short video, and it will probably be many videos going through the beginner, intermediate to advanced level with that, to give you a different kind of understanding. And so what I am very aware of through science, through development, through my own relationship building aspects with my team, is that it's not required to have this name or this feeling as such. We're looking for it because we need to know that we're right, and we need to have the confidence to speak. And so we give this picture or this name or this person, and a lot of the time they're famous, or a lot of the time they're of a biblical nature. So and immediately this is where the outside world will start to disregard what we say, or not believe us in some way. And so what I try to do is make it as simple as possible for the beginner or for the intermediate student, where I don't care if you're working with Jesus, or I don't care if you're working with the fairies. I really don't. It's not a stumbling block for me. I totally believe that whatever face, name or feeling you have there is under an avatar. It's and let me explain what I mean by that. Is that if you needed a pink fluffy bunny rabbit to tell you that there is a mother here or a father here for the person sitting in front of you, then that requirement, they will always fulfill that, because it will give you that sense of safety, that sense of my team or my guide is here, and therefore they will use it as an avatar of a pink fluffy bunny rabbit. Now I know that sounds funny, but you can replace pink fluffy bunny rabbit with anything, like a fairy, or like a angel, or just a regular person, you know, just a male or a female aspect. And so what happens is, through science, I totally believe that as the neurons are firing, the spirit world impregnate that idea within our mind. That's where the idea forms. And so if you need that spark, that avatar, to be cloaked in some way by having a male figure, or an Indian, or a nun, or an angel, then at that moment that cloaking will take effect. That's what I mean by the avatar. And so all you have to do is decide what it is that you want, almost. Not that you can pick to work with Jesus, but almost like the idea of you working with Jesus, or with an angel, or with a fairy, or with a family member, will be enough for you to be in that space. And what we have is this hang up that we don't trust our own mind, or we don't trust where we're getting the information from. And so for me, a family member or a biblical person or an angel or a fairy just wasn't right for me. It wasn't something that I could develop my mediumship with. It didn't give me confidence. It didn't give me any kind of power there. So I have just a regular lady that works with me. And in some weird kind of way that must work in my mind, that I listen to what appears to be something like a mother figure. She's older than me, she directs me, and she advises me. And it's down to me whether I choose to listen to that or not. That will be the free will aspect. Equally, I have a gentleman there, and he seems large, he seems like a large man. But he's not an angel, and he's not a biblical character. He's just a gentleman that makes me feel protected, makes me feel like I'm safe. And so it's got that fatherly feel to it. So I've got like a motherly figure and a fatherly figure that just appear to me every now and again. Now, in the early stages, I required that. I need to see my lady, I need to see my man, before I will do this communication. And I realised that for the efficiency of the energy that I'm using there, and the energy being the communication aspect, I was wasting so much of this getting my mind into a space where I see or felt the lady, or I see or I feel the man, before I will speak these words or the impressions that my mind have. And so if you are someone that needs to get in a canoe and go down a river for half an hour to meet a guide in a cave, that's absolutely fine. I'm not saying that's wrong, but it's the requirement of you that requires that. It's not the requirement of the spirit world. And so what I'm trying to give you is this understanding that the spirit world are here and now, right now. And in a moment, just the mind moves to that area, and my team are there. My motherly figure or my male figure will be there immediately as my mind changes. And so I don't need to get into a boat or go to a meadow, or I don't need to go to a cave to sit with this. What you're doing in that time is building this relationship, which I certainly do believe that helps my mediumship, where I go and spend time with these people, but it's not required for the communication. So what I would do is I would sit maybe every Monday night at 7 o'clock and dedicate an hour to them. And I would say, here now, you have my mind, you have whatever unrestricted value you need here to give me the influence or the education that I require this week. And I would do that every Monday at 7 o'clock. Now again, you don't have to do this. It was a discipline of my mind that I was trying to create. And so maybe I would have a visual, maybe I would go to a meadow, or I would go to a cave. Or equally, I may get a feeling of sensations, happiness, despair, joy, and that blending taking place. Or I would just ask them just to sit with me so I could feel the difference between them being there and not being there. They may take my mind on a journey, like these visual episodes that I would have. Maybe colour, maybe sounds, or just a feeling. But what I was doing was setting this discipline to one side for 1 hour per week to give them this space and this time to build that relationship. Now, however, now I go to demonstrate, or I do my sit-ins, or I do these inspirational talks, and I don't require to see her there, or I don't require to see him there. I know they're there. Through this relationship that I have built, it's not a belief, it's a knowing. And so I know they're there, and I know they're there to help me. And so building this relationship, not through a name or a label or a banner or a facial expression, it's just knowing that they're there. And so my advice to any student or anyone that's just a little bit curious right now, this would be the time to build that relationship early on. Build that knowing here while you're developing this mediumship aspect of self. So I hope that's gave you some insight, only in this very short video, and I will do lots and lots of more videos in the relationship building aspect of guides. Thanks.
And her goal is not in her.